Good morning and welcome. Thank you for joining me today as we explore South Korea in depth with Bunnik Tours. My name is Sally Ann Matthews. I'm the Business Development Manager at Bunnik Tours. I've been fortunate enough recently to travel to South Korea with Bunnik. So today we're going to virtually explore the sights, sounds and flavours of South Korea, where every moment promises an unforgettable experience. This webinar will be recorded today for those that can't join us live. We are also joined online by my colleague Tom, who'll be happy to answer any questions that may come up via the chat function today. So firstly, an overview of Bunnik Tours. Bunnik Tours is an Australian family-owned company, and we're really proud to remain fully independent. Next year is our 30th birthday, so we're certainly a very well-established brand. All we do is small groups, and it's not new to us. So we truly are the original small group touring specialists. I think one of the great things is that our tours are designed here in Australia by our team of experienced travellers. We focus on experiencing the destination through culture, food, history, and more. And we offer really unique, inclusive itineraries with more multi-night stays for you, so you can really immerse into the destination. So what sets Bunnik apart? It's our maximum group size of 20. We don't go higher than that anywhere in the world. Or even less sometimes in our Africa tours or our deluxe in-style tours. We go less in numbers. But this is one of the number one reasons clients choose to travel with us. Our small group tours are exceptional value for money with no hidden extras. We include many hidden gems and special experiences throughout the tour on top of all the sightseeing and so much more. We make it easy with air often included, but it's completely customizable to your requirements. So we can do stopovers for you or upgrades to business class or changing routes. It's completely up to you if you want the air included, or we can take it out as well. It's just part of the service that we offer to you. We believe small group touring delivers you a more memorable experience. We have a large, spacious coach for 20 passengers, which allows each of you to have a window seat and the spare seat next to you. Plus, a smaller group saves so much time on tour and getting on and off the coach. It really is going to just give you more time in the incredible destinations that you travel to. With Bunnik, our small groups get to the heart of the destination, and we're able to take you off the tourist trail as well. Our demographic is 45 plus, with the average age on tour in the 60s. But we aren't fixed on how old you are. It's been suited to our tour, which is the most important to us. The Bunnik Tours, we operate in 7 regions around the world. Our small groups operate in Europe, UK, Egypt, the Middle East, Asia, Africa, South and Central America, and Australia, giving you more small group touring options all over the world. And we hope you fall in love with the style of a Bunnik tour and want to do it again with us to a different part of the world. So I'm pleased to be presenting to you today in partnership with the Korean Tourism Organisation. So firstly, I'm going to start off with a video clip of the highlights of South Korea. going to get that video to play. The best time to visit South Korea is generally considered to be in the spring months, from March to June, and autumn months from September, October, and November. During the springtime, the climate is pleasant and sunny, with beautiful blooming flowers all around the country. Autumn is cooler, but the landscapes burst into colours of red, green, and orange, and it's a great time for all the festivals in South Korea. Cherry blossom is a beloved time in South Korea as well. So if you want to visit the stunning cherry blossoms, we recommend booking your South Korea tour during late March. I was totally surprised at everything South Korea had to offer. It's a captivating country with such contrasts of ancient traditions and advanced cities like Seoul and Busan. It seems to balance the skyscrapers and the big cities with the calming beauty of more than 900 Buddhist temples scattered all over the countryside. It's known as the land of the morning calm. On our Bunnik tour, you'll experience 14 days from $8,795 per person, including airfares from Australia with Singapore Airlines. Our South Korea in-depth tour started with 2 nights in Seoul, then travelling through the tranquil countryside, visiting some historical landmarks along the southern edge of South Korea, before making our way down to Yeosu and then travelling across to Busan on the water's edge. We then continued on to Jeonju, known as the Museum Without Walls, before hopping on the high-speed train back to Seoul. Special experiences are always a highlight on a Bunnik tour, and they really allowed us to immerse into the unique traditions of the Korean people. One of the special experiences that I loved was the traditional Korean spa, and they're definitely known for their uniqueness. My favourite spa experience was in the bubble room, where our group had a lot of fun. Every experience added another layer to our tour. So with the majority of 2 to 3 night stays, you'll have time to immerse yourself into Korea and enjoy all the included sightseeing, plus your own free time for independent discovery, which is really important when you're traveling. Our tour began in Seoul, where we experienced the old and the new in this captivating city. Beginning at the newly opened official residence and office of South Korea's president for 74 years, the Blue House. It's only been open to the public as recent as 2022. The Blue House is renowned for its distinctive blue roof tiles, which gives it its name. The architecture here combines traditional Korean elements with a lot of modern design concepts as well. It's surrounded by beautiful gardens, and you'll get to spend a couple of hours here. We then visited the beautiful Gyeongbokgung Palace. This really gave us a glimpse into the Korean royal families of the past. Gyeongbokgung, which translates to the palace greatly blessed by heaven, was constructed in 1395 and served as the main royal palace during the dynasty era. The palace is now a collection of museums and historical sites. We had a few hours at this location, for there's so much to see. The highlight for me was the changing of the garter ceremony. It's been a tradition for centuries in Korea, and they reenact the customs of the royal court to ensure the security of the royal family. And it's really beautiful and colourful to see that. It was then on to Seoul N Tower that stands on the top of Mount Namsan. The N's often mistaken for north, but in fact, it stands for new, which translates Namsan. This iconic tower was built in 1969 and is a great place to see 360-degree views of Seoul. We actually rode the cable car up to the tower, passing the picturesque Love Lock Bridge en route. This has become a symbol of love and romance, and many couples visit the tower to add their own lock to the collection. Once we were on the top of the tower, it revealed epic views of the city that is home to around 10 million people. There's also a fortress wall around Seoul, and you can see this from the viewing areas of the tower, which is really incredible. Personally, I love experiencing the local life, and Samcheong Street is a trendy neighbourhood located in the heart of Seoul. It's famous for its charming streets lined with traditional Hanok houses, art galleries, cafes, and boutiques. I visited this at night, and it's a brilliant area to go at night because it kind of brings on that cozy, intimate feel. It's got lots of soft glow lanterns and fairy lights, which really add to the atmosphere. It's really lovely to see. We then left Seoul and travelled to the UNESCO World Heritage Site, Suwon Fortress. This was constructed during the late 18th century. The fortress of walls stretch around 6 kilometres, and they surround the city centre of Suwon. Our group here, we had fun taking part in a traditional archery lesson. South Korea has an impressive 12 World Heritage Sites, including royal palaces, tombs, shrines, and the well-preserved Hanok villages. Another region we travelled to was Jeonju. It's in the western part of South Korea and is renowned for its rich cultural heritage, delicious cuisine, and traditional Korean architecture. One of the city's most famous attractions is the Hanok village, a well-preserved area with hundreds of traditional Korean houses known as Hanoks. When we arrived in Jeonju, it was like stepping back in time. The village itself is made up of over 800 traditional Korean houses. Hanok's houses are known for their beautiful carved roofs and are generally divided into two sections where the women stay and the men stay separately. Travelling is a journey of understanding, and one of my favourite ways to connect with a country is through their cuisine. The celebration of rich food culture unfolded through the simplicity of traditional dishes. Across the country, ingredients and dishes vary. Certain regions are especially associated with some dishes. For example, Jeonju region with bibimbap. Bibimbap translates to mixed rice. It's a bowl of warm rice topped with a fried egg on top, sliced meat, and lots of fresh ingredients. And they all stirred together just before eating. It can be eaten hot or cold. Soups are another common part of any Korean meal, but generally served as part of a main course rather than an entree. And I also discovered some new favourites like the traditional Korean barbecues, lots of fried chicken, kimchi, and cheap beer. On the Bunnik tour, we learnt a lot about Korea's fascinating cuisine at a kimchi making experience. This is South Korea's staple side dish made from fermented vegetables. It was a really fun experience and we learned a lot about the cooking traditions. Kimchi is served at every meal and made with cabbage, Korean radish, or sometimes cucumber. Commonly fermented in brine of ginger, garlic, and chili pepper. We got to experience an array of delicious kimchi choices. So I never actually knew that fermented cabbage could taste so good. Korean's cuisine is renowned for its bold flavours, diverse dishes, and an emphasis on really fresh ingredients. For me, I really love learning about the Korean food and the numerous health benefits due to their nutritious ingredients and cooking methods. So South Koreans themselves eat an average of almost 20 kilos of kimchi every year, keeping them very healthy. Another highlight for me took us to the beautiful Sungesa Buddhist temple, where we were to experience a traditional tea ceremony and meditation with a monk. We were able to ask any questions we liked, which really gave us a great insight into the traditions and life of living in the monastery. The temple is famous for the 6-kilometre stretch of cherry blossom trees that bloom each spring. Many of the Korean Buddhist temples are found nestled in the different mountains of South Korea. Most of these locations are believed to have the best feng shui in the area. We then travelled into the Demyang country and explored the bamboo forest, which is called the land of the bamboo. We had our own time here to explore this at our own pace. The height of the bamboo was incredible, and there were so many vantage points to take in this beautiful scenery. Our group really enjoyed just connecting to nature and their own time at their own pace to take in this beautiful region. 64% of the country is covered by forests, which offers visitors spectacular, natural landscapes and experiences. And it was really, really beautiful. South Korea's second largest city, Busan, is a picturesque, bustling port city surrounded by stunning mountains, home to beaches, hot springs, and delicious seafood. Busan was an absolute standout for me while exploring South Korea. I like to describe it as kind of like the Gold Coast of South Korea. It's very vibrant, but yet a really relaxed beachside vibe. Busan is home to Haeundae Beach, which is considered one of South Korea's most beautiful beaches, and it's where the city meets the sea. During the day, we walk coastal paths for views across the ocean and of the city skyline, experienced local markets, and soaked up the atmosphere. In Busan, we also visited the UN Memorial Cemetery, which honours the lives of soldiers and UN aides lost during the Korean War in the 1950s. Next, we continued to Haedong Temple. This Buddhist temple, situated on the coast of the northern portion of Busan, was an absolute highlight for me. The temple is located on the cliffs that have breathtaking views over the East Sea. Haedong Temple has been quoted as one of the most beautiful temples on the planet. It was built in 1376 and is surrounded by mountains and ocean views. It's a total must-see, and I just loved all our time experiencing this area. I think from memory, we probably had about 3 hours here, and it was just incredible. There was just so many beautiful advantage points. The big surprise for me was our visit to Tumuli Park in Jeonju. It's known as the museum with no walls. The tomb complex is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and is a resting place of the Shilla dynasty royal family. There are 20 large and small tombs from the Shilla period. These tombs are located under big grass hills, with each burial mound housing fascinating treasures and artefacts from that area. This was really quite incredible. These grassy hills, it's kind of likened to a miniature version of Egypt. So a lot of the tombs remain untouched, as Koreans believe it's bad feng shui to dig them up. But we were able to go inside one of these tombs and see all the treasures and artifacts that they'd found, which was just unbelievable. After travelling back on the bullet train, we had our last day in Seoul. We visited the DMZ zone, which is about 2 hours drive out of the city. DMZ stands for the Demilitarised Zone and is the area between North and South Korea. This is the buffer zone, or known as no man's land. From the observatory area, it was hard to believe that we were looking at North Korea in a distance. For me, one of the most interesting observations about South Korea versus North Korea was how different they look. On the south side, the area is overgrown with trees and beautiful nature and everything like that. And when looking into North Korea, honestly, you're lucky to be able to spot a tree. We experienced the third tunnel, where you can walk to the closest point to North Korea. It was built by the North Koreans for the purpose of invading South Korea. The tunnel is about 3 kilometres and extremely steep to climb back up, but it was absolutely totally worth the effort. The one thing in this area that stood out for me that was really quite emotional, we were just driving out of the DMZ zone past a hill, and there was lots of Koreans on the hill with balloons. And our tour guide, Monica, explained on certain days when the wind is blowing the right way, the Koreans put messages or newspaper clippings, or sometimes even money, into the balloons to hopefully reach the North Korean people on the other side. So you won't necessarily see that all the time, but if you do get to see that, it's really emotional, and it's a lovely thing to see. Bunnik Tours South Korean Depth Tour really embraces all the traditions of the Korean people, and it's an amazing country to experience. We really do look forward to sharing this unforgettable country with your clients. This is a picture of my group after we had the tea ceremony with the monk at Sangesa Buddhist temple. He was just beautiful and, so open and answered any questions that we liked. We also have our very popular South Korea and Japan 27-day tour from 17,595 per person. This is a beautiful combination of two countries that absolutely complement each other. It's only a 2-hour flight between Seoul and Tokyo. There are so many fascinating sides to Japan. On our Japan tour, you'll be able to immerse yourself in the hustle and bustle of Tokyo and Osaka and travel to the historical Takayama and learn the traditional art of Japanese rice paper making. You'll be amazed at the beauty of Mount Fuji. You'll experience a beautiful, authentic ryokan guest house, and you'll ride the bullet train to Kyoto. So it's a great way to see Japan in combination with South Korea. Tokyo itself is a captivating captivating destination where you'll explore historic landmarks, indulge in culinary delights, or just immerse yourself in this vibrant country. You'll walk the streets of lots of quirky shops and local snacks and things like that. Always try the ice cream. It's got the most interesting flavors that you can get in Japan. And I suppose there isn't a more famous culinary dish than sushi. And we have a great special sushi cooking class that we do with our group as well. Kyoto is, it's one of Japan's beloved cities, and we visit here. This was actually once the capital of Japan. And now it's considered the country's spiritual capital. It's graced with, beautiful temples, pavilions, gardens, and museums. We have a couple of nights there as well. You'll also get to experience a sumo wrestling demonstration in Japan. So it's a great option to consider in combination with South Korea if you're looking to do the two countries together. So thank you for joining us today, and thank you to the Korean Tourism Organisation for their support in promoting this beautiful country. So I'm just going to finish up and just ask Tom to see if there's any questions from the audience.
Hi, Sal. We have
Hi,
had
Tom.
a few.
Yes.
So one of the questions that we did was at the palace that you would have a few hours to explore around. Was that a self-guided tour, or were you with a guide during that time?
I'm so sorry, I couldn't hear you what you said.
Any better?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Sorry. So one of the questions that we did have was at the palace, where you had a few hours to look around. Was this a self-guided tour, or did you complete this with a guide?
We had it with our local tour guide that we had on the trip the whole time, Monica, in the Blue House. She's fantastic. Her wealth of knowledge was absolutely incredible. So you have the one local tour guide right throughout the tour with Bunnik. Yeah, they're absolutely in love with their country and know all the history. So it's wonderful.
And then another question that we did have was, is there any extensions offered for the tour to Jeju?
You can go over to the island and we could arrange to getting the flights and things. We don't personally have an extension tour that does that, but your flights and things could be arranged by Bunnik, and then you could get your accommodation and things like that. But that's a beautiful island as well.
And that was it for the questions. Thanks, Sal.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again for joining me today. And yes, please reach out if any other questions or you have any comments. Please reach out to us. We're more than happy to have a chat to you about our beautiful South Korea tour. And we really look forward to seeing you on another Bunnik tour soon. So thank you very much for joining us today. And thank you, Tom.
No worries.